Hey everybody, today I'm out in Detroit taking a look at the 2024 F-150. Ford has made some pretty big changes to their best-selling truck, although they're calling this just short of a redesign. Let's take a look at the new design because you'll certainly notice that first. We obviously have much more expressive headlights. They said they wanted the F-150 to look wider than before, which for those of us outside of North America may sound strange since this is already a really big truck, but it certainly works with these new headlight designs. Instead of the C-clamp design, we now have what kind of reminds me of some modern luxury cars with these LED light pipes inside. Now the front end design is going to change a little bit depending on the trim that you're looking at. This is the Lariat trim, so it's one of the more popular models. Coming in for a closer look, you can see that we have sort of a sparkly black finish to this grille. New grille designs in all the various trims. We'll take a look at a number of them in this video. Big Ford logo right there in the middle, of course. This one's the STX trim. You can see that we have more of a horizontal theme with this single light bar inside the headlight module. We still have LED headlights, but these are LED reflectors, not LED projectors. And then we get yet a different grille treatment for this model. This has sort of a 3D theme with little knurled edges here to help deflect rocks and of course not show when those rocks and those bugs embed themselves in your front bumper. Now this headlight design is going to be found on a number of different trims. Over here in this XLT trim, for instance, we have a variant of this same design. Again, reflector headlights with a different grille treatment. Over here in the Tremor trim, we find a few more changes. Same LED light bar inside the headlight module, and then it's accented by this gold bar running across the front. We have a unique bumper, of course, and then the unique lower bumper is perhaps the most interesting part. This is the new Ford modular bumper, kind of taking a play card out of the Bronco lineup. This is a three-piece bumper module, so the center section can have accessories added like this factory winch kit. One of the reasons you might want to get a factory winch instead of an aftermarket winch is that Ford relocates the parking sensors to this module and then they recalibrate the system in the vehicle to know that this is a little bit longer than the front bumper. So these exact same parking sensors would be moved back to the bumper if you wanted to remove this winch kit. We then get another forward vision camera right there just above the synthetic line coming out of the winch. They don't relocate the camera, interestingly enough, so it still has the camera just behind the Ford logo. If you want to remove the winch for whatever reason, you would just go back to the regular camera. Also a styling change, we have these new fish scales right here on top of the hood. Let me know what you think about that particular look. Top end trims of the F-150 get this headlight arrangement that you see here. If you get the Raptors, then we're going to get amber accents instead of the white accents. And then the top end versions of the F-150 also get projector LED headlights. But now we should talk about what's under the hood. The biggest change under the hood of the F-150 for 2024 is that the naturally aspirated base engine is gone. It's been replaced by a standard 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6. We then have a 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 like you find under this hood, as well as the EcoBoost Hybrid, which is actually this particular model. You can tell because it has these orange cables over here. The EcoBoost Hybrid is not only going to be the most powerful non-Raptor in the F-150 lineup, Ford says it's also going to be more popular in 2024. Sales really exploded in 2023. They couldn't keep up with demand, so they've promised to double the availability of the hybrid trims. This should be about 20% of the F-150 lineup. And that makes a lot of sense, not just because this gets the best fuel economy in the lineup, but because it has the most power and it has the ability to have an onboard inverter. 2.4 kilowatts of onboard inversion is standard. Sorry, the hood did not close fully there. There we go. 2.4 kilowatts of inversion is standard. You'll get in-cab and in-bed outlets, and you can optionally get a 7.2 kilowatt inverter. As you've probably seen in some of our other videos of the F-150 hybrid, the onboard inverter technology is surprisingly efficient. And even though this is a big V6 engine with a turbocharger, running a well pump, for instance, for 8 hours, it actually was more efficient than a Honda inverter generator, which is surprising. Now, the side profile of the truck, it doesn't really change much. Obviously, different trims get different wheels, etc. If you want to get the 5-liter V8, that engine is still optional. And if you get the Raptor lineup, you get an even more powerful twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 or the supercharged V8. Now, back here in the rear, we definitely find something new and interesting. We find a new swing to the side tailgate. I will take a look at this in a bit in a different model, but Ford is really emphasizing its practicality when towing because you'll still be able to get back here into the bed a little bit more easily. Now, I am a little bit surprised it's not a complete swing to the side tailgate like we find in the Honda Ridgeline. It actually has about the same kind of access that we find in the Ram 1500 barn door setup on the 60% side, since this portion is 60% of the width of the rear. No F-150 update would be complete without revised payload and towing figures, so you'll find up to 2,445 pounds of payload. That is an insane amount for a half-ton truck, and up to 13,500 pounds of towing capability. So if you want to tow some of those bigger and heavier trailers out there, you absolutely can with the F-150. Of course, if you want to go over that number, Ford would be happy to sell you an F-250. Now, interesting twist with the 2024 update, no changes to the Ford F-150 Lightning. I know a lot of folks have been asking about that. Now, Ford would not say for sure, but we know for sure because they've already introduced a 2024 special edition with pictures, and it is not getting any exterior or interior changes for 2024. Before we get to the tailgates, let's talk about the lights. You can see that we have the LED light pipes in here. Definitely a luxury car vibe with those swooshes. I'm also perhaps getting a little bit of Nissan, I guess, in some of the headlight and tail light accents. Now, about the tailgates, there are going to be three different ones. There's going to be basically your regular old tailgate. You can still get one with the Ford step integrated into it, or you can get this one with, again, the swing to the side feature. If I press this unlock button and then pull it open to the side, you can see that it opens to basically 90 degrees from the tailgate itself. It's a pretty decent opening, but one key feature that I think is missing is the fact that it is relatively narrow. So if you want to be able to load pallets in the back, it's not going to be quite as easy. It's going to be just like a regular pickup truck where you have to swing the entire unit down. It is still a damped tailgate, and it is powered in this format. We still get some of the other Ford features that we've seen for a while, like places where you can lock wood clamps, things like that inside. Now, they wouldn't give us exact exact weight specifications for the tailgate just yet, but they said it meets the same standards as their previous tailgates. So you can actually find the button there. You can also raise and lower the tailgate from a button inside or a button on the remote control. Let me know what you think about this tailgate design. Does it give you too many Honda Ridgeline vibes? Does it seem as handy as some of the other tailgates out there? Let's take a look around the interior now. We're in the new Platinum Plus trim. This effectively replaces the limited trim in the F-150 lineup. We get touches like real wood on the dashboard and on the doors, but the majority of these interior components are basically the same as the 2023 model vehicle. So we have very similar front seats. We still have the Max Recline functionality. We still have this ratchet style shoulder extension right there. We still have the massage functionality, that sort of stuff in the seats. Now, the big thing with the dashboard is not the size of the screen. It's the fact that the size of the screen is not limited to the top end trims. You'll find this in every single F-150 now. It's just over 12 inches, and the just over 12-inch instrument cluster is also standard. Part of that is because Blue Cruise has been expanded to a larger portion of the lineup. XLT and up in the F-150 lineup is going to get all the hardware for Blue Cruise, including this little blinking light setup over there that the camera can see. That's part of the driver attention monitoring system. Some of the other features obviously in here are going to be optional, like the Pro Power onboard options there, the 360-degree camera, the Pro Trailer backup knob, but you'll notice everything is pretty similar to the 2023 model year vehicle, including this console shifter. Some folks had assumed it would go exclusively to a column shifter. That has not, in fact, happened. You can see we have the new F-150 Platinum badging right there, and this is model number 1. Inside here, we still have lots of storage space. You can see they've jammed all sorts of things back in that storage area. Basically the same steering wheel that we've seen before. We get a revised heads-up display with expanded availability in the lineup. It will now feature Blue Cruise information and some other new details, towing information, off-road information, etc. They've changed the color around the dashboard, and they've also changed a few of the details on either side of the instrument cluster, but the bulk of this dash is very similar. That, of course, means that the back seats are effectively the same as before, so still plenty of room back here. We still have those front seats with a big carve-out for people's knees. Still have heated seats back there, power outlets in the rear. The Raptor gets updates as well, of course. We get the same headlights that we find in the high-end F-150s, but the DRLs are amber here, distinctive, of course, for the Raptor. We then also get the marker lights all the way around, including these new little marker lights on the front fender that kind of reminds me of a little yellow tongue hanging out in front of the vehicle. We don't get the fog lights with the swoosh. Instead, we get the same Raptor fog lights as before. And then we get the new modular bumper, very similar to what we found in the Tremor, but we don't get the availability of a factory winch kit. Now, Ford said obviously the winch kit from the Tremor would bolt right onto the Raptor, but they don't want to do that from the factory because they think it's not quite compatible with the mission of the Raptor and its style of off-roading. Raptor R might get some more changes because they will not tell us how much horsepower is going on under the hood. The rest of the engine lineup, it's basically the same as before, some minor tweaks here and there. Raptor R is going to be getting more power, but we don't know what that more power is. With the Ram TRX heading off into the sunset, it's without doubt that this is going to be the most powerful truck in the segment though. You'll notice very similar front end treatment, but we get blacked out sections instead of the shinier sections, the lighter painted sections, I should say. And then that also extends to the side of the vehicle where we get slightly different graphics, unique wheels for the Raptor R. The majority of the interior is the same as before with some minor touches here and there, like some cool touches on the center console, slight changes to other interior trim components, but again, the majority of the Raptor is the same as before. And that of course includes the back seat area. Now, this particular Raptor doesn't have any of the other trick tailgates, but I can show you power tailgate in the Raptor still has the step that comes out of the back. So if you are a person that prefers a step to get into the back, you might want this particular tailgate design, because if you don't get this one and you get the swing to the side tailgate, then you either have to get the accessory hitch or the accessory step, or you have to step up right there to the back. So it depends on your height and what you find easier for you. If you're interested in charging laptops or running power tools, Ford is going to offer 4 different inverters in the 2024 F-150. If you get the base models, there's a 400-watt inverter module. It's basically going to occupy this small section right over there, just under that 40% side of the rear bench seat. If you get the 2 kilowatt inverter, which is going to be available in the gasoline models of F-150, then we get this big inverter module right back here underneath the rear seats. There's also going to be another alternator under the hood. This is really practical. It's one of the highest output inverter modules available in North America, period. And that's just where things really get started in the F-150 lineup. It's going to give you a 20 amp outlet right back here in the rear seat area, also an outlet in the front seat area, and an outlet in the bed. That's going to be suitable for running power saws, air compressors, a wide variety of electrical items. If you get the hybrid model, then you get even more inversion capability. You get a standard 2.4 kilowatt inverter. It's going to bump things up to the next level. And then there's an optional 7.2 kilowatt inverter if you want to run even higher load devices like 240 volt appliances. Technically, you could probably run an oven, you could run an air conditioning in your trailer, and actually run most of your fifth wheel trailers right off the built-in inverters. Now, if you get the hybrid system, then this inverter module doesn't exist. It doesn't occupy this same space. You get that space back because the inverter module is then under the truck. You then get an expanded set of outlets in the bed. Be sure and let me know what you think about the new 2024 F-150 down there in the comment section below. I am really excited about the fact that we get the big screen standard, because this is an STX trim. I keep confusing those letters, but we still get the big touchscreen. Sadly, I can't turn it on because I don't have the key, and this does actually have a real regular key down there, but we get a lot of standard feature content in the F-150 lineup and a lot of available feature content still as well. So you can see this one has some power inversion, 400 watt inverter in this particular model. We have single zone climate control. It's not automatic, but we still have those big knobs there, trailer brake controller, drive mode selector, 4-wheel drive selector right there. But this is obviously a bargain basement F-150 because we have the column shifter. I actually think that really improves the practicality of the center console and a urethane steering wheel. But again, still big LCD cluster there. Lots of, definitely hard, durable plastics in this interior, but comfortable fabric seats as well. Hopefully, when I get my hands on the 2024 F-150 to drive, this is the model that I get because it's the one I'm most interested in. Again, because some of the practical touches here, just like check out this additional storage space that you get because of that lack of shifter right there in the center console. I think that's a really ideal design, and I think that's something that I would like to see in future F-150s if they just deleted things. We also don't get the door over there on the passenger side, so we get a bigger storage compartment above it as a result of just missing that, that door that a lot of people probably don't care about anyway. So let me know what you think about all that down there in the comment section below. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, be sure and do so, because I'll be driving one of these just as soon as possible. See all of you later.